translation? Because I thought that was very interesting.
Think of God as a bank teller. You like that one? Okay.
It's very
Think
funny.
of God as a bank teller. And your bank is called the Cosmic Bank. And God is the teller behind the counter. And he's got his little hat on, the old-fashioned hats that tellers used to wear. And every lifetime this goes by, you make deposits, and the deposits are good deeds, good thoughts, good words. Now, when you make a withdrawal, there's no way that you can make a withdrawal in any bank unless you've made deposits. And so you're constantly making deposits, lifetime after lifetime. And when you need, for example, money in a lifetime, you want to buy a house, or you want to buy a new car, or you want to buy a new wardrobe, or whatever it might be, you've got to have money in your cosmic bank account in order to draw and to get money in your real bank account here on Earth. And so you say to yourself, have I been tithing lately? Tithing is a definite form of administration that God looks at. Because in order for God to help you to manifest money in your life, you have to show God that you are tithing to His work. And so God lets us keep 90%, and we have to give God 10%. You have a cosmic bank account. You put in and you take out. And when we're through with this life, there should be nothing really more that we need, nothing more that we want to withdraw. And so we have all of this good karma, let's just say, stored up in our cosmic bank account. And most likely when this life has come to its closure, we don't have to come back here anymore because there's nothing more that we have to use that bank account for. Does that answer the question?
Yeah. There's this way in which you speak about how we choose to incarnate. That's very profound. I was wondering if you could share a little bit about that.
Right. We come here for a very simple reason. We want to grow and we want to learn the lessons of life. And this particular planet of Earth, if you haven't noticed, is a very tough place. This is on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the most difficult. This is a 100 planet. This is very, very hard. And, it's the survival of the fittest, so to speak. But it's the survival of those who use God's laws. And so when we make a decision, we make a contract. Think about coming here as making many, many contracts. Just like you would go to a lawyer and you would sign a contract. Well, a contract is only as good as the people who sign it. And that's my dog.
It's okay, no worries. We've had many animals on the show.
Oh, my gosh, okay.
No worries.
So it's funny. His name is Crystal.
That's great. Hello, Crystal.
Thank you. And so when we make a decision to come here, we make contracts with the man and woman who's going to be our mother and father, with any siblings, with husband, wife, partner, students, teachers, whatever, friends. And you knew that you're going to incarnate at a certain point in time, and they're going to meet you at a certain point in time, when all of us are going to be as prepared as possible and as strong as possible, mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, financially, to work with certain units of unfinished business or karma that click in at certain points of time. Certainly at the age of 30, you're not doing what you did at 2 or 3 years old. That's absolutely impossible. Nor will it be the same when you're 90. And so the karmic contracts that we make are tremendous. How would you like, for example, I'm sure that many of you out there who are listening to this have had a dinner party for, I'll just make up a number, 25 people. Do you know how difficult it is to get 25 people to agree to come to your house for dinner at one specific day, at one specific time, at one specific month, everyone's going to converge on your house, you know you're going to get a number of people who can't make it. It's just like, how can you have 12 people on a jury? Just getting them together takes days of wrestling with lawyers. And so it is upstairs. There is an enormous amount of administration that goes on with not only with souls who are going to reincarnate and meet you at a certain point in time, but their teachers, their guides, who are trying to work with the great masters of astrology upstairs. And this is a huge room. It's not like the astrologers have today where they're only rectifying for 9 planets. They're rectifying for not only the 12 planets in our system and all the moons and so forth that are attached to those 12 planets, but all adjacent star systems. It's an incredible map, and it's a holographic when you walk into it. That room is vast, and so all of these other people, their astrological charts have to be in juxtaposition with yours so that you're going to meet, you're going to have that opportunity to meet. And, you know, if you change your name, you've got a problem because they're listening for a certain name, a certain focus, a certain vibratory rate of a name, and people change their names. I'm very big on, you know, giving yourself the opportunity to have the correct name. And so there's a huge amount that goes into just getting you here on the planet and making, in the minimum amount, maybe 100 contracts that of people who are going to meet you and so forth. In the biggest case scenario, it could be millions of people who are going to meet you, or certainly thousands. And so, for example, you're on the air. Now, you've made a contract, you realize, Kim, with people to meet them, not face-to-face, but to tune in. And there are many people who said, okay, on this particular day, on the 14th of June, 2010, wherever I am on the globe, I'm going to listen to It's Rainmaking time, and at a certain point in time, and I want to hear this particular lecture. Well, there was a contract that was made for that, and their teachers and guides needed to inspire their students to get to you so that they would hear something that would help them with the rest of their life. It's very intricate. This is not a little thing.
You just talked a little bit about how critical a name is and how some people they change their name, but it also then changes their vibratory capacity, and then it changes in a phenomenon that's supposed to happen, a whole lineup and orchestration of their life and meetings and all of that. Is it correct to say that when we come into our existence, we agree to meet all of these souls throughout our life?
We agree to meet all of these souls, and we meet them, and we know who they are, not just if we have the opportunity to meet them face to face. We don't recognize their body, we recognize the soul coming out of their eyes, but almost always we hear the name first. Some people, Kim, don't get the right name at birth, and they get a name that their parents want them to have, or they're a junior or senior or second, third, fourth, and they were never supposed to have that name. There are souls that only get a portion of a name. They don't get the right middle name if they're in a civilization that brings a middle name into focus. And when I do a reading, after I say a prayer, I always ask for the name of birth. Now, I know that God knows who everybody is. God does not need your name, but I do. And so certainly they give me their name of birth and I get their records, but in some cases there is a name written underneath that name in shadow. And I say to them, you know, there's a name written in shadow here, which is the name that you were supposed to have for your first name, or in some cases your second name, or both. Do you want to hear it? And almost always I have never liked my name. Or they're, you know, and I tell them what it is, and sometimes they cry. They've always loved that name. And sometimes if they're a Catholic person, they have said, you know, I took that name as a name for, you know, not their graduation. I forget what it's called in Catholicism. Their confirmation name. And there are some people who use a name that's correct, but they're using a nickname. And it's wrong. They're like a person named Richard and they call themselves Dick, or a person named Barbara and they call themselves Bobby, and so forth. that has nothing to do with Barbara. It has nothing to do with Richard.